Yep, getting their push in, and their jungler also pathing down towards their side. Of course, you get that super common ward on the Raptors that Shun has been able to walk around. Most junglers have gotten into the habit of avoiding that ward and going straight for the red. He's done that as well.
They're going to have to pick up some blobs here. Just gets so much health back per blob. And we've been watching Zach for a really long time. It still bothers me.
The blobs and the grass fields, and there's so much sustain on that champion. Obviously emerging as one of these really high prio tanks that can transition to the later stage of the game. And alarmingly large burst damage for the backside as well.
I'm just glad we got rid of Rex. That was the biggest problem.
Yes, that's true. That is very true. Very glad that we don't see her in this top lane over and over again. Real rough, but been able to clear up this wave very nicely. That's found himself some advantage as these waves would be. Towards his top side to see whether he can affect anything as all of the camps are now down.
Shun wants to go check on this Scuttle Crab here. He does not have mid priority, and top side is about 50-50 right now.
Nine, not going to be able to offer too much back, but really good positioning here from Faker, just taking his exit. We'll be able to get himself.
And it's a nice idea from Shun. T1 thought that Shun was going to be at the bottom side of the map taking the other Scuttle Crab, so Faker was hugging that top side of the lane, but I think once he saw a nice step up, Faker kind of realized...
udah 1-0 cok BLG, what the fuck bro?
Good read from T1 mid lane.
Mending modal bin. Oh iya, magic midnya naik cok. Ini apa sih? Ini sih modal bin bro.
Faker has not been able to solo kill Knight in the matchup, but he does have a CS lead here on the Celia, and both of them using their teleport to get right back out. Owner with the deep wards, replacing those wards in the bottom side jungle. I mean, this has been one of the critical plays that has found T1 success as bottom lane going for another trade.
Yeah, nice handshake there. Get a little bit of CC as Elk still just putting these sticks in. Owner turns up, good vision available here for BLG.
This is something that we saw in their previous series too there, where T1, around the 4.5-minute reset timer, they get that second layer of wards in your jungle to spot out plays. They've done a lot with that extra information. Shinel is on the opposite side of the map and has been able to actually avoid them. I just want to point out the ward that was on blue plus drop now just expires for T1, but they'll know the respawn timer there. Shun is going to be able to steal away Raptors and possibly make another visit.
Yep. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Level 5 though doesn't have the Cyclone to lock things down. That will instead just take a volley straight into the back of his noggin. Oh, that is a nice seismic shove from Faker there, who really did not like how game 1 went, I don't think.
Yank me again!
Yeah, exactly. Players going aggressive, and I almost thought that this was going to be a consequential fight on the top side of the map. Sorry, Kobe, shouldn't have done that. Wet noodles aplenty.
Nicely done though by Faker to actually get some pressure there, because again this opens up Owner to start to move in towards the Ripchild. Shun though going to try and respond by diving bot side, and Gumayushi's very low.
He really is. In fact,
oh my god!
There's the flash forward.
Anjing. Demi apa?
He will be answered as Carrier locks down that kill, and now he's going aggressive. Faker moving down towards his bottom.
No, nggak sempet. Nice banget Faker. Let's go, my good. Untung dong, untung nggak sih? Untung itu satu tukar dua terus dapat objektif jungle. Untung bro, T1, let's go. Let me show.
Really big punishes for T1, and it also allows Owner, since they saw the Wukong down there, they saw Shun, he gets to steal away the blue buff here. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, you can see the poke coming through from BLG. They immediately get onto Gumayushi with the handshake as well, but a bit of a mistake from On. Actually hand shook the Senna away from them, so BLG had to flash, which meant that when this comes through now with the ult from Faker, Elk doesn't have any sort of flash, so cleanses the stun, but still gets hit by the flick back, and there's no way that he can get out.
Yeah, Elk and On are so... Oh, never mind.
Bin looking like he's in a little bit of trouble here towards the top side of the map. Both of these champions can tank pretty nicely. There's the flash just to make sure he can get a... Wait a sec. Can he? The all-out comes on through as Zeus was taking the turret.
for the K'Sante memes, but he's good for one though. Bin is always good for one kill at least in the side lanes. You saw it last time around with the Vayne in the 1v4. This time around, K'Sante in the 1v2. Bottom side's a party though, and Shun is finally level 6. Wukong, level 6 ultimate is available. Xin Zhao is on the way here though, so Owner gotta respect the timing.
Yeah, Owner moving on in, probably should see that this Gromp is being taken. There is the smite. Saw off screen as Carrier moving on in. Does find the Warrior Trickster. There's the Abyssal dive though to get him forward. Handshake just to disengage. There from on, they want nothing to do with this.
Faker had to move on mid, so they didn't want to overextend. Already got caught out by the Faker roam once, didn't want to let it happen twice. Knight gonna reset there and start moving towards mid as well as he picked up the Hex Trigger, so give him a little bit of easier trading, but with T1 having this much pressure mid, objectives are just theirs, but Kobe, this play from Bin is just sick.
Yeah, I mean, this thing being unstoppable is so crazy. It's a really nice double dash into ultimate from Bin. He uses those like mini moments of CC, and then on the reset from his W, almost is able to get it out of there. Kill, of course, is finished off there by T1, and they're able to go 1-for-1. Faker now visited.
Yeah, if 2 didn't work, then let's bring 3. Dawning Shadow comes in. Fantastic handshake once again from On. I think that T1 might need to think about banning away that champion. Hostile takeover once again. On is going to make sure that there is no answer.
Just using that to make sure they can disengage. Not going to be any sort of objectives up before On has his ultimate back on the table. But topside again, we're seeing a lot of fighting. I don't know. Good movement.
Yeah, is it fighting or is it just existing aggressively? You know, sort of being there. Nothing better to do than to hit each other with your buttons.
I do love the concept of living aggressively.
That's this.
Yeah.
Here's your example.
Oh,
Zeus is going to get all outed. Exactly. A lot of ballbucks for him to eat as he's going to bounce. And as you can see there, that's just a whole bunch of health back, and he's going to win out on the health trade when it looked a little bit dicey. Zach thinks.
They were living so aggressively that junglers were thinking about joining though. That's when it can get.
That's why they disengage. Okay, no. It's not about that.
Yeah, you get to live vicariously through us, not actually with us.
Yeah, that's not how it goes. T1 back here towards this bottom side of the map. Trying to stay alive in this lane. Almost at a second plate here for Faker. Should be able to get there. Takes a turret shot as well, just casually. And not quite able to lock that one down, but that is just fine. There's getting all of his health back, just being a Zac. And he is almost towards his 3rd turret plate here towards this top side. A large reason why T1 do have a little bit of a gold advantage. Largely about these turrets being pushed into so aggressively. Owner now will be able to take his 4th grub as well, as there's another handshake from On, but T1, they're making their way in. The Ignite ticking down. Piercing Darkness not going to do as much, but he is going to be fine and get out.
They got the damage they needed to though. Faker taking low means that you can't really contest on this top side for the Void Grubs. Package picked up for Knight though means they won't have that available for that next dragon, so curious to see if T1 will keep track of that, or even if now that they do have at least the 4 Void Grubs, they would just continue to put pressure on side lanes and look for chip damage or territory.
And Faker is seeing move here towards the bottom side of the map. Plate of his own. He'll be able to move down here. We'll see whether they can stick around long enough. It looks like the answer is going to be no. Not wanting to risk it, understandably so as well. Zelk gets in here, not a lot of information as to where the rest of the BLG are, because they have had just such good vision for themselves in this game, keeping control of the map.
And I believe On just walked over that control ward. Maybe he didn't pass through the brush, but that deep control ward that we saw placed by Owner super long ago in the BLG side of the jungle, still standing there. He must not have actually touched it.
Now on the prowl. On his red buff, there is a smite. It's not going to work out there for Owner. Quite able to get in there in time. Let's teleport back here for Zeus. He's got his Sunfire King. Feeling good about being a Zac. Walking towards Bin. Does avoid the pushback. Looks like Zac is just going to be pretty happy. This lane is going to continue. Not sure whether anyone's going to die, but at least, you know, feeling like he has some control.
Again, though, there's a lot of control for T1 on the bottom side. We already highlighted, it's going to be saying the ward that still exists in that just beside Red Bull, but a lot of vision control on River as well. And Faker has been continuously getting the push, getting good trades against Knight. And with the shove on mid, there's always that opportunity where T1 can just lend that pressure into the bottom side of the map. And I think that's what T1 are really trying to set up for, especially minute left to a Dragon. This is where keeping that control on the bot side river is going to be crucial for them.
So it's going to be able to grab that third plate that he was looking for. Cures that one for himself, knows that his mid and jungle are just stealing away the blue buff. Shun turns up, spotted there, but not be able to affect too much here. Level 8 now for the Wukong, and I think team fights are going to be where BLG can really start to make their mark in this game. We'll see whether they can catch T1 unawares, because T1 also, I mean, their composition, there's a lot of CC available here as well, so I think it could be really explosive if we get to some of these 5v5s.
It certainly is. I think one of the critical things for BLG is going to be playing around their package timings for Knight. The Corki package is going to be their biggest tool in really trying to combat some of these objective setups. T1 so far, with their 4 Void Grubs, getting the Void Mine, plus their single Dragon start, feeling pretty good. But BLG, you know, once Knight's able to get past level 11 here, once they're able to get up next pickup on package, they'll feel a lot better about the situation. 10 seconds on the arrival of the Dragon though, and you can already see all these wards in place ahead of time, ready for it to start out.
Area positioning aggressively with his missile dive, as we could see. Gumayushi moving down the river, eating some honey fruit now. That setup, like you were talking about, kind of working out there. On misses what feels like his first handshake. Just been so on point with those. Of course, an opportunistic one right there. See whether he'll have his eye in for the next team fight that is coming up, or whether they're going to be able to fight for it at all, because you can see Shun and Knight heading towards that top side.
Yeah, BLG made the call. We are going to wait for the next Dragon. Just trade this one, no problem. Go for Rift Herald, top side instead. Meanwhile, pretty quick rotation from T1 immediately after the Dragon. And they're going to head to try and chase them off of Rift Herald. Barely finished off, and the escape now is good.
Well, now a potential dive available, thrown back with the seismic shove as Elk is in trouble. Carrier dives forward, they take down the turret, great handshake. Another hostile takeover is going to be good, but this time, Carrier's just that little bit too tanky. Dawning Shadow avoided there by Elk just narrowly to get themselves out, but the prize is there for T1. They're able to take down that turret. Another seismic shove barely avoided here by On as BLG find themselves on the back foot, having to use that teleport to defend.
Elk was just the cherry on top. T1, really smart play, going towards mid, cut BLG off from regrouping underneath the mid lane tower, so they managed to get it. The fact that you end up getting summoner spells from Elk as well is just an extra little bit on top, and fantastic stuff for them to actually keep that at bay, because BLG, we talked about already, had used the package to contest Void Grubs, so didn't have it for Dragon. So T1 just trying to force while they are further ahead, especially with those first item completions coming through for them.
Still very, very close in this game. Feels like it's just the 2 Dragons that are in it here for T1. And Knight is getting more and more scary. He doesn't have his first item completion just yet. Corki, of course. 3 is probably the sweet spot. Want that level 16 as well. It's certainly going to be one of these things to look out for in the late game. Faker wasn't allowed to get there in game number 1. This one feels like a bit of a slower game.
I think On, though, has been the standout for me in this game. The fact that you end up consistent with these handshakes, hostile takeovers have been great. And he's been a player that has struggled a lot with, at least in the beginning of his career, with how aggressive he was to go. He had a great mechanical style to him, but lacked the macro understanding of where he needed to be and what he needed to be doing at all points in time. But now he needs to use it again, because Knight's in trouble topside.
He certainly is.
Yeah, this is a rough one. There's the seismic shove. It's going to miss, but it gets the flash. Knight now in trouble. He's surviving for a long time, but Gumayushi, he'll have the range. Bailout not quite going to be there. Arizona locks down that kill. Knock up after the cleanse. It's a disaster.
Mantap. Let's go T1.
Once again onto On. That is not going to be another kill. A third would be a bit much.
Huge picks here for T1. Enemy jungle's on bottom side of the map, and so they overloaded up here, almost baited in by trying to get the bailout for Knight here. Elk, threw the Q to try and get a little bit more damage and see if they could get that execute, if they could get the revival for Knight, and it ends up costing Elk his life as well. He was the gold leader on the side of BLG, and T1, they get a bonus.
And Knight thinking he can just finish off the wave. He's got so much wave clear, but not able to do so with the amount of members that T1 are here. And as Kobe alluded to, Elk goes forward trying to kill Gumayushi, but Carrier with the tongue lash over the wall means that you can't get back out of there for Elk. and he ends
Oh,
up going
itu
down
tujuannya
alongside
pakai
his comrade in
Talia
mid
anjing,
lane.
That's a
nge-counter
big gold
itu
swing.
ya.
Means a lot for
Bener
this
sih.
game too, because it's still pretty early on here. So T1, they get 2 kills plus the outer tower, and they get that extra mobility from the top side. You see the wards that they left behind.
Feels like, once again, a risk was taken. Red side selected here by T1. This time for them, it is working out. As at the moment, it's looking like we're heading towards a 1-to-1, but this could be a pick here for BLG. Carrier having to flash to get himself out of the way. Side there backing up. BLG not going to lose anyone just yet. T1 with control of the river. Ona goes in. Not sure about that one. There's now a flank angle here for Carrier. Wants to get that tongue lash out, find an opportunity. As Knight not going to get hit by that one. There's the Fade's call. Dawning Shadow flies forward once again. This bottom lane is in so much trouble. The hostile takeover again is phenomenal, but used very defensively here. As T1, they own this jungle.
And now they own the mid lane as well. T1 forcing BLG into that top side means they can get that tier 2 tower that they already set very low. Knight alone under the tower. Faker considered using the Weaver's wall, but T1 are just going to march their way down the mid instead.
Really good job keeping up the pressure here, defending the vision that they have placed. T1 always one step ahead, placing these deep wards, then continually attacking BLG. On the bottom side too, they were hoping that Bin was going to be able to answer on that tower, but it's still too healthy, cannot afford to stick around, so BLG does not get anything back across the map.
And now BLG are going to be forced to fight T1. Dragon in 20 seconds, a third dragon for T1. You can see Knight can reset and look for the package. Going to try and shove out topside first, but this is where T1, if they win this fight, they can basically guarantee themselves the game off of how much they can take off the back of this.
Yeah, so much map pressure just inherently by being able to pick up that soul point. Now that dragon has spawned, teleport into the mid lane for BLG to make sure they keep some semblance of control, and it's alongside a package here as well for Knight. Rift Herald, they're throwing the kitchen sink at making sure this soul point does not go over to T1. They have control of the river.
Yeah, Carrier's going to have a really good devourer in this team fight, because you really have to worry about rank 2 ultimate from Wukong, who's got the level 6, or who has the package on Knight. Is he going to go?
As well, going to try and split this fight up. There's the seismic shove. Knight, he had to use the package. He tries to use the defensive weapon. It's cut off. And now, stretch Armstrong, he dives into the pit. The Drake is secured here for BLG, but T1 are just rolling.
Ini diperangin, dia lifestyle, nice one, wipe out.
And Ace almost, as On is the only one that survives.
And Baron, T1 just absolutely wipe them. Knight chokes it. Faker goes in on the Talia, and it is a clean sweep.
Well, I think we should have known. Talia, hard counter to Corky. It's impossible to play that matchup, and now we understand on both sides, just don't do it.
Oh. Gotta say, it's not the first time we've seen Knight struggle on an international stage when it came to having these moments where he can pop off, tries to hold the package because he wants to get massive value, but instead gives his life and gets nothing for it. The CC chain from T1 is perfect, and immediately Zeus sees his opportunity, leaps into the pit. Dragon be damned. T1 want the lives of BLG, and they're handed on a silver platter.
Sumpah itu gue mikir siap Free Fire
Oh,
banget
great.
aja.
We get this objective, we get Baron as
Marksman
well.
mana sih, Pak?
This is
Yang
a
marksman
Buffalo.
support.
That's beautiful.
Tapi di Free
That
Fire
is
cuma
just the
nembak
first
doang,
drink as well going over to
bisa
BLG. Denying
nge-damage
soul point,
anjing.
absolutely fantastic. Doesn't really solve the problems though, because look at that gold lead. It has just exploded. Now 5,000 to the tune of T1.
Vector nge-set
Zeus
up.
is a brick wall on
Dari
this
positioning.
Zac as
Untuk
well.
Raiden lalu, Andi.
Good to see that
Bentar ya,
he
gue remik dulu guys.
Zeus is one of these players that's had a bit of
Masa
a
bener?
rough split.
Ah.
I think we've spoken about it
Aku
many
jatuh,
times
anjing,
throughout this
gara-gara
tournament so
gue
far.
ngantuk.
But I think his Zac, his
Win.
Vayne as well, his Twisted Fate have looked
Quantum,
absolutely
okay lah.
fantastic. And although he wasn't able to quite get over the top against Keen in the final versus Genji, Zeus has still been very, very good, especially on the Zac. The Zac is just, if you pick Zac in the right spot, I feel like it's one of the most unanswerable champions.
And he's got the unending
Make a wish.
despair as well for the extra long healing and sustained
Yeah.
Zac gameplay. Meanwhile, the rest of T1 though, they're gonna 4-1 split push that Zac in mid lane pushing up. And they just have to slowly and surely here with the Baron buff whittle down the secondary tower. Zeus is
Ada
going to
bisa
get that mid
diambil,
lane all the
anjing.
way up to the inhibitor tower before joining.
Yep, T1 just playing it very, very slowly, waiting for that minion wave. Should now be able to walk up and get some extra damage onto this turret.
Takut.
There's the rocks, they go down. That means there's no way to counter engage. T1 will take this bottom in a turret. just the top one remaining as far as that second round of turrets is concerned. 5-0, the global gold advantage here for T1, just massive. This is feeling, it's feeling just about as doomed as game 1 did on the other side.
But that's the thing, is like, how do you try and come back from this as BLG? You don't really have a side lane threat that can really do particularly much. Nine is going to struggle to clear out these barons. Three, at any point in time, Faker can wall you off from your own base and they can start to take these turrets as well. All the T1 are doing is playing with their food. They're moving to topside to take this last outer turret. As soon as you're in your base as BLG, you don't get access to any more fun in this game.
Quite working out. Now BLG, they're looking to try and defend here with 3. Elk moving on up. You can see Knight making his way forward as well. Unstoppable used here by Bin to absorb some of that CC, but there's another Weaver's Wall that will guarantee this inner turret. I thought Faker was going to go a little bit further on that one, but instead he is going to take the safer route. And they do just guarantee that the turret is going to be taken. That is 6. Just inhibitor turrets left up and standing here for BLG.
Yeah, and then they will kill into the jungle as well. Blue buff stolen, Gromp stolen, T1. Really taking away any of the opportunity here for BLG as Bin is still on Gesante.
Yeah, he does have a long walk in order to get back to that inhibitor turret, but yes, like you said, relatively durable and should be able to clear out this wave quite nicely.
Ghost Burn just before Dragon, though, was a nice little victory for a T1 that they didn't really have to invest too much to get, so they'll be very happy with just blowing the Summoner spell. And already you can see Shun trying to get in onto this bottom side to get some sort of vision control as BLG are pushing out this bot wave as well. But I think at this stage, with T1, how strong they are, it's so difficult for BLG to really have a hope in this fight. Knight will have the package available, so maybe he can get some sort of action with that, but Faker's flicks and Faker on this Talia has been so good at shutting down BLG at every opportunity.
And you mentioned how hard this Zac is going to be to take down Atlas. I mean, Zeus has a 2-level lead over Bin on the Gesante. 3 items completed. This Zac is going to be immortal with the extra healing amp from the Spirit Magician as well.
And it feels so bad to need to press the ignite button on the tank, you know, but I think they might have to if they ever want a chance of killing him. Or you just accept that you can't and then try and kill the damage dealers, because Gumayushi Faker, they are less mobile, especially after that Weaver's Wall does come down. BLG some opportunities, especially with that package available. Knight could be dangerous, and we'll see whether T1 can do it once again. Another flick back immediately. Has to use the Fate's Call. Azon is going to be saved. Carrier just standing in that front line. Zeus on the flank angle. The Zac looking for that opportunity. There is the Weaver's Wall to go through. Dawning Shadow to make sure that T1 are all absolutely fine. And in goes Zeus. Doesn't find the stretching strike, but he just doesn't take damage. Knight gets a decent package this time around, but the Cyclone does absolutely nothing. Ona tries to go aggressive. Knight gets at least 1 there as the bailout comes in, and T1, they're just a brick wall. They're not going to be taken down. Their health bar still
Lompat,
50%.
mantap Zeus,
I mean,
itu
there
dia Zeus.
and Knight, there is just nothing left in the tank. Carrier just chasing
Yo,
after his
Carrier-nya.
tongue at the ready. And
Anjing, Faker makan-makan, Cok.
to finish
Mukbang,
off the
anjing.
support. Zeus, yeah, this might take some time, but I think he might be able
Mati,
to
Cok.
just lands a slingshot.
Anjing, Corki mati,
The
bangsat.
fight lasts so long! The fact they
Silom
cannot
mati,
get
no,
through the
Zak.
T1 Hellfire. With Gumayushi
Warren.
heals, with Carrier shields, with Zeus just being unkillable in these fights. T1 just walk over BLG.
Well, yeah, it's very slow. Just walk towards them. If you don't do damage, it doesn't matter if you don't take damage, I guess.
Look at Guma there as well, kind of spacing back on the Senna, and then as they charge in, Owner is going to get pushed around here, and once that Xin Zhao ultimate does actually fall, you see the re-engage is quite nice from BLG actually. Sun and Knight, you mentioned the fact that goes to the other side, and they'll get the 1 kill, but it costs them everything, because On is already so low, Shun is already jumped so low, they've got nothing left by that time, and Zeus is healing right back up as they chase them all the way down.
And Carrier just does not take damage on this Tom Kench. Giving him all of this extra money is something that we've definitely learned in the LCK many, many times. He just is immortal when you get later and later into the game. As it says, as we saw just there, landing the slingshot very nicely as T1 have started off the Baron. They have all of the control. There's just bodyguard here for T1. Gumayushi backing up his support. It's Keria slinks into Fog of War once again. Bin trying to aggressively position himself, trying to get his way in. As he eats all of those rocks, there's another wall. As the Cyclone, this time into the backline, is fantastic. It lands onto Gumushi, but it's a trade of AD carries. And Zeus is buying so much space. There goes the Wukong. Zeus, is he going to take damage? Will he? Will it happen?
He will, and then he'll heal it.
Yes, so he will. He'll continue to take damage, but heals way more than he takes. As Knight is trying to hide behind the Gromp.
Where do you
Stay
go?
still for me, buddy. Nope, not going to work out there. Tried to be tricky.
Knight was caught between a frog and a catfish. And nowhere to go. And T1 are inside the base. They're taking Baron at the same time. Zeus says, I'll go for the end. You get the objective.
He's not going to be killing anyone, but he does manage to take down that inhibitor turret like you were talking about. And yeah, slowly but surely. Just putting his blobs against the inhibitor. Doesn't quite work out there as Keria managed to get another wave forward. And that is the Baron being taken. And I believe Gumushi, yeah, he was out on the map. So that is 5 members with the purple buff.
And what do you do now as BLG coming into the next game? Because this is clearly a problem. Keria gobbles up Elk on the back line. So even though this fight looks great on the top half of the map, your entire backline is just disintegrating to the catfish and the blob. So Shun dealt with thanks to Owner and Baker. And then Knight just does not do enough damage on Corky. And there goes Shun. Just pop goes the Weasel.
I'm not entirely sure. We're lacking a little context there, but that is fine. 6-0-5 for Flubber. And Keria, he can lick this turret down if he would like to. And there is the Zacian once again, lands right on top of On. Just not quite able to do too much. And yes, there are 3 members of BLG now throwing sticks and all sorts of stuff towards their Zac, but he still wants to go aggressive. Bin moving forward, and he is very, very tanky, but T1 just looks undeterred. They will be able to take the inhibitor towards the bottom side of the map. Just 1 inhibitor remaining, and Faker, he's ushering a minion wave towards that one as we speak.
There's just no stopping them. T1 will get to take everything that they want. Top wave collected, now going to start to move in. And Zeus can engage from so far away that the second BLG show, Zeus can go in.
He's rooted. Is Zeus going to go for it? He wants the Q instead.
Honor kills the creep, come on.
Aduh gila ini
T1
bang.
now have a minion wave towards this turret. Still looking for a dive attempt. Weaver's Wall does come down. That will guarantee this one. Very textbook here for T1. They'll lock that one down. Now they go aggressive. In goes Zeus. Does get Elk out of there, but now they might have an opportunity. The blob is finally going
Balikin gak sih? Balikin
relatively
gak sih?
low.
Dia majuin tuh, gas.
I'm pretty sure that we haven't seen it so
Aduh,
far this
Ondernya,
game.
sekarang.
Flash out of Shun. Has to avoid the seismic shove. The inhibitor does go down now, and BLG, they just can't get any lethal blows onto T1.
Yeah, they jumped the front line pretty
Yeah,
low,
they
but they're going back in.
All right, Zeus, he's
Zeus initiate, Zeus initiate.
Armstrong comes down, the cell division coming on forward.
Zeusnya hidup lagi, cok. Nge-heal dia. Zeusnya malah hidup, anjing.
Absurd. Bin going down very low. The Nexus turret's not going to last, and T1, they will even out the series.
Zeusnya malah hidup, bangsat.
T1 bounce back. Faker gets his turn with the Talia, and the unkillable front line steamrolls BLG.
And then you have to go back to the drawing board as BLG because this was what you left open. This is what you thought coming into game 2. We can make this look very similar to the first game of this series, but T1, they bounced back and they looked fantastic in game number 2.
Man, this was a much better look. And you mentioned back to the drawing board. That's where T1 just came from, right? And so now, a much more even series. Exactly what we wanted. Let's head back over to the analyst desk to break that one down.
We totally agree, of course. Let's bounce, I guess, from the side of T1. We talked about how much would they run back for the bottom lane. It was the same, but maybe more crucially was the Talia on the other side this time around, Jad.
Yeah, it was. Still alive.
You're just happy his predictions being saved here.
It's wild, right? It was a salty run back for the first 3 bans and the first pick and the second pick.
フィルムランドの騒ぎは
The takeaway of Talia right away, and Kobe even mentioned it, was just such a
どう
big adaptation and the right adaptation with everything else staying stable because not only did Faker
に大きかったみ
he then also decided the bot lane, much like Knight decided the bot lane in game 1.
I was surprised because like we even see the Corki pick go to 4-5 because that was a lot of bans. Even BLG had banned a few mid picks of their own, and then once you go to 4-5, it's like T1's okay. We'll ban Miko and we'll ban Tristana and make the matchup a little easier. They forced the matchup there, and even though Corki got out of lane better off than Faker, that was still fine. And Talia was able to do exactly.
ファミリーは無教におけるゲストの安全。ファミリーから納得の。
どうやらなかなかの場彼らのターゲットは
ロビンさん、ハウンド家がフィルムランドを封鎖したことは知っています。ファミリーは名誉を守るために。
でも見ての通り無教は
ここに残っても構い。
もちろん。こんにちは。
おい、このバカ！
そんなに緊張しないで。ご報告いたします。
ロビンさん、ご安心ください。
あなたたちのことは信じているわ。
それは
実は事件が。
ロビンさん、正直に申しますと、
あなたたちのファミリーへの忠誠にもちろんファミリーは同意して。
なるほど。カンパニーの社員は無教に入ることを禁じられていると聞きました。
安心して。さあご安心ください、ロビン。面倒をかけるわ。これはアイリスケがロビンさんから。
本当に誰かが因縁を。
Astagfirullah.
Robin.
こんなところでファンに会えるなんて光栄だわ。
まさか。
ステージのさっきの事故で一部のゲストには嫌な思いをさせてしまったから、
Ini satu-satu, Cok.
ファミ
Tapi
リーの一員として
bisa bantai banget tiba-tiba.
皆さん。
Bisa gini kalah. Gimana?
でも乗りかか。
Ini berbeda ya, sorry.
この
Spanyol.
プレゼントを受け取って。
Oh,
しっかりもしかしたら。
ini Sparrow kan nyamar jadi Robin anjing.
すべてが原点に戻った。
No!
以前
No!
ここから黄金の時に入った君はもう一度君に同行できて本当に嬉しい。
I also got another name. Solar Hunter.
大丈夫。ごめんね。疑問だらけなのは分かってる。私たちが知らない無教の中で死に遭遇したことは、あれが私を殺そうとした瞬間、その恐ろしい瞳の。私は脚本のヒントをもとにそのミームについて。本当は君たちの前で死を呼び出して、君が見た通り私は死の刃につでもね。やっぱり私は生きてた。そこで私は無教のホテルに戻ってその存在を君に伝えようとした。でもまだ自分の正体を明かすわけにはいかなかったから、どうにかして君の同行者の注意をそらして君を戦場から連れ出そうとしたの。だけど私の試みは全部失敗に終わっちゃった。ついさっき血みたいに赤い斬撃が夢の高い塀を切り裂いて君たちをこの深い無境に落としたことで、やっと君や仲間たちを一人ずつ目覚めさせることができたんだ。これが今までに起きたことの全容。全部を無条件に信じるのは難しいかもしれない。
Bukan Regen Roman guys. Gua gak percaya sama cewek anjing. Tapi kalau ceweknya Raiden Mei boleh lah. 怖がらなくて大丈夫。私たちの迎えが。
君にこんなことができるなんて知らなかった。運転免許持ってるの？それはなんていうか意外だね。
なぜだ。ここが罪悪の都市ヤペラだ。
いや、なんでもない。ただもう君は20システム時間も寝てないなって思ってる。大丈夫？
大丈夫だ。死ぬことはない。俺もお前も同じだ。
私はどうかな。あ、やっぱりスピード落として。
潜入成功だ。いつでもサムを起動していいぞ。
脚本の次のシーンまでまだ時間がある。もう少しだけこの体でいさせて。長いトンネルだね。出発した時はこんなに長いと思わなかった。
半システム時間後、このトンネルが俺たちをカフカのところまで導いてくれる。その後、ヤペラーブラザーフットが滅亡する。
それも全部脚本なの？
お前の脚本の中にもある。
ごめん、気づいてなかった。
お前が故意に無視しようと、あいつらの運命は言ったはず。
じゃあ君は今度こそ君が望む死を手に入れられるの？
いつも通り空白だ。俺が求めるものはこの星にはない。なぜ急にそんなことを聞く？
疲れた運転手の車に乗ってるからだよ。私は無事に目的地にたどり着きたいの。
この車には自動運転機能がついている。俺はハンドルに手を置いているだけだ。これでいいか？
冗談なのに。エリオはいつも運命は一つだけで誰もそれを避けることはできないって言ってるよね。あの人には未来が見えて、私たちも同じように自分の定められた結末を知ってる。でもその瞬間が訪れるまで人は自分の意志でやりたいことを選択できる。私たちにはその権利がある。そうでしょ？
今日が終わればヤペラーの名は銀河の歴史から消える。そしてエイカ艦艇が奴らにとって変わり、近い将来招待状を受け取るだろう。それがお前の次の目的地だ。
夢の地ピノコに。
そこでお前の求める答えが見つかること、あるいは下脱を得られることを祈っている。
目を閉じる。それが
俺たちが悩んでいたあのミームの出現は全て。
ここの雰囲気でも住民たちの断片的な言葉。
またその男か。いつも肝心な場面で姫子となのかは先に言っている。
本当の無境、流刑の地。出発前にみんなともう少し話した方がいいかな。
Tinggi loh.
ごめんね。ドリームリーフの時間の中。
Tidak perlu tidak perlu. Jadi ini cok, ada bawah tanahnya nih.
この路地を進むと
Gitu
エ
dong.
レベーターが見えてくる。それで流刑の地の中心まで行けるから。
Welcome to my world.
こ
ほとばしる過去の伝説。
これほど巨大なクロックボーイがあの時計の
sih langsung ngamanin itu lagi Sena mungkin lagi buat sih tapi talinya diambil anjing Caitlyn oh enggak Lucianami of course Lucianami kan ngomongin Lucian dulu oke Lucianami mid laner sih Riben aja. Tali apaan ya? Di Sandra gak sih Sandra? Sindra kek. Riannya kan di band. Faker Sindra sih. Long time no see. What the fuck? Left mid kah?
考えていても仕方ない。とにかく姫子たちと合流しよう。
この道を右に曲がって。
君は一緒に行かないのか。
京急列車の人たちは
Jangan asal
仲間内で話し合う必要があるでしょう。私はその間にギャラガーさんを探してみる。
わかった。後で連絡を取り合おう。言ったか。蛍さんが本当に信用に値する人物なのか判断するにはもう少し注意して見ておく必要がある。が、その前に話したい人がいるんだ。一緒に行こう。君も気づいてるだろ。あそこホテルレバリーのドアボーイ。どうして念のため。
Jarvan di band. Jarvan aja. Untuk apa? Anjing luas juga. Untuk apa? Ngepick Jarvan. Band asol anjing di band. Main asol bangsat. Nah, Victor bola, Victor. Gas, Victor. Lesin anjing. Serius lu. Lawannya itu loh padahal.
そうじゃありません。お客様たちはどうやってここに来たんですか？この無許
今こ
はい。なのでいつも美しい夢で
そのネムというのは
Jax JG lawan PS bener nih. Bagus terakhir ini. Trimid band anjing. Azir, Asol, Oriana, terus kanannya Ahri anjing. Pigo, oh jadi TF Jax top. Baywanin sumpah, Baywanin Atrok sumpah, Atrok. Kalau nggak Gwen deh, Gwen. Nggak apa dah. Galio. Tiba Galio sih gue ketawa sih anjing. Indra. Veigar, let's go. Itu good pick banget buat Faker ya guys ya. Itu dia bangku, kasih dia keras-keras. Veigar top. Veigar mid anjing. Bagus ini. Veigar sih good point banget itu.
もしかしてロビンさんですか？
やっぱりか。 ホタルさんの例があるから
Nggak ada yang
これ
Aaron
も予
ngedes
想の範囲内だ
ini shit banget soalnya
ロビンさんを探して
di
るなら
BLG juga
僕が案内しましょうか。外から
full
のお客
scaling
様
ini
にはあって
anjing
も
anjing
構わないとロビンさんから言われていますの。
それは助かる
それはわかりませんね。こういうのはどうで。ロビンさんは子供たち。
分かったそれこれでピノコニーを騒がそれは分からない。ところで君は前に自分なんだか不思議な、いやそんなことは
ほとばしる過去の伝説。
見てください。ここではドリームリーフの一番。
ブラックホール、いや奥室が。
ベルトさんも。ほら彼女はあそこ。計算できた。あと10
Kemaisi ke atas cok anjing
上の美しい夢が下の夢を飲み込んでしまう。私の推測は正しい。私はドリームサーベイヤーのクメイよ。専門は奥出動力学であの大きな空洞が見える。何年も前はただの亀裂だったんだけど今では大きな穴になってる。この付近の奥室はずっと一定の速度で空洞の向こう側へゆっくり。でも恐ろしい。ラザリナさんの奥室測量法に改良を重ねて中システム時間後ドリームリーフは消滅する。氷山が溶けてなくなるように全てが崩れ去って空洞の向こうの美しい夢のかけらと一体化するの。心配しないでくださいね。こういうことは今までに。
それよりも気になること。
あなたも彼女のことを知ってるの？それとも奥出動力学が好きなのかしら？
俺たちはラザリナさんの業績に興味があるんだ。詳しく話してもらえるか。
Spellbook lagi
もちろん。彼女は奥出動力学の優秀な学者で最初に奥出速度測量法を青函旅行に応用した人物よ。でも残念なことにガーデン・オブ・リコレクションの存在のせいで普通の人たちは奥室の性質にあまり。私が彼女に私感じるの。
ラザああ
クメイさんは
そうかもしれないな。
僕たちの目的地は貿易エリアです。
ほとばしる過去の伝説。
観察者
やめて。レオ様。うちもあんたも。幼児ちゃんそれ早く手伝って。もうやめてくれ。ほらこの調子。冗談聞この人自分が死んだと思い込んでるみたい。お客様。そうそう聞こえた。うちだって君目に見えないものと話してるじゃないか。ここが死後の。もう聞かないでくれ。
mati cok
モンスターを引き寄せてしまう。
ya ampun Bin
その名前を口にするな。 うよ。捕獲マーク起動。愉快な反撃の時間です。
涙雨へっへっ触れては触れない。
彼は気を失っている。
なるほど。美しい夢と、でもこの方。じゃあジェシーおばちゃんにお願いしよう。あんたたちを待ってる間、たくさんの地元の人と知り合ったんだ。ここではみんな自給自足の生活を送ってるんだって。なんて言ったらいいのかわからないけど、なんかこっちの方が本当の夢の世界みたいに思えるんだよね。お酒はダメって言ったでしょ。
Anjing micro slip. Sorry.
ジェシーおばちゃん。
なのかちゃん。
この二人はうちの。
最近は
こういうことは
よくあるってこと。こっちの人はかなり
天海族の。
おそらく
ロビー。
事の経緯を明らか。
じゃあドリームリーフみたいな場所はアスデナの記憶域にいくつかあるんだって。大海原に浮かぶし、それから
それが本当なら
姫子はまだ。
And it should mean that T1 aren't able to get too much back, as Shun taking a lot of damage, still down to 100 though, keeps himself alive as now Faker throws out the LTL, oh, just barely surviving! And the Dark Matter not going to connect onto On either.
I cannot believe that BLG managed to survive against that. Faker on their own. I thought the baby cage was going to be enough to zone them away from the tower and keep T1 in a position to get the kills, but just not quite. It will net the dragon for T1 though, as you look at the top side, Bin getting a nice little bit of farm and experience lead over Tails.
Meanwhile, they're looking for a repeat here. Faker sticking around.
Yeah, On in a bit of trouble here as Faker does move on down towards that bottom side, and that is going to be a kill going over to Gumayushi. Just a little bit greedy for the experience.
Yeah, nicely done there. Carrier's like, don't worry, Faker, I can take the tower. So On, even though he throws the bubble towards Faker, Carrier is able to take it up. T1 get another dive kill.
It's been really weird lane assignments from BLG though. Usually you'd think, oh, Elka and On want to play together, so they have the Lucian Nami as a duo, but they've actually been using the Nami a lot with the Talia, with Elka actually free farming the mid lane to get a little bit more of an experience lead for himself to match Carrier, getting some of that solo XP on the top side, and now you can see as well, Nami starting to move up towards that top side, but she was stuck in the bot lane when it looked like they were already planning to move Bin into the bottom side, so On been a little bit late on some of these rotations as a result, and T1 have been punishing well.
ドリームリーフと12の無境が正式に自己紹介し、俺はドリームリーフ赤森ミカだ。ドリームリーフでの生活はとても自由で、組織と呼べるものはない。みんなそれぞれの生活を送り、互いに干渉しないようにしてる。
Keeping track so far, Faker on 70 stacks and Guma on his first 20 right there.
ところでミカさん、
Meanwhile, Shun again ultimate towards Faker. Faker who does have flash.
いくつか象徴的なイメージがあるだけだ。ベルトさんが気になるのは実際に見に行く。俺の推測が正しければ、あんたたちはそこでかなりの収穫が得られる。だがその前にもう一人一緒に行く大切な客人がいる。
In the 1-3-1, with this Talia already getting rolling, it's looking good for BLG.
こっちだ。ドリームリーフの道路は長いこと補修されてないから足元に気をつけろ。
Yeah, I'm gonna trust that Faker knows best.
Yeah, I think if there's anyone that you're just going to give benefit of the doubt,
we can't quite see the plan, but it's there. Surely.
See what it is actually going to be, because he decided not to press the flash button and did then die. He's 10 CS up though, and of course you just want to be farming, pressing Q as many times as possible, onto things, getting last hits, and building up that AP as high as you possibly can.
It is interesting to see though how much resources BLG have been giving towards Elk in this. one of the things we see an awful lot of the times is when you've got a center Tam Kench and we end up in a lane swap, Keria is on Tam Kench gets further ahead because of the TP, but they've let out farm a mid, but Knight now under pressure in the mid lane with Owner here.
Cage comes down. Seismic shove going to be avoided. Owner being very patient here. That cage not going to be opted into. Very smartly here towards the top side of the map. So, slinking into Fog of War at T1. Looks like they might just steal away a blue buff. That could be all they're going to be able to get. Still a minute and a half. Or anything else is going to be back up on the map for the taking.
And we keep up the swaps here. Now we get another reset T1. They send Bin, or BLG, excuse me, send Bin up to that top side. He's gonna have to get past some of these deeper wards from T1 though. They'll see him as he goes.
Yep, that's a nice one. They even look to set up for the dive. You can see now that he's been spotted. Things already there though. Keria gonna go for the reset, and you're seeing the reset from Zace as well. So T1 trying to force these matching lanes at this stage, so that you can have Zeus continue to put pressure on against Bin. But he's been doing relatively well. You can see CS is the same, and experience relatively even as well for both of these top lanes.
Just pretty quiet as far as this early game is concerned. Only about 500 in it, slightly favoring BLG right now, but no turrets really under too much threat, as we do have some waves moving in, so BLG might be able to get first brick, but you can see only a couple of plates being taken here towards the top side. It's the bottom side of the map that is looking a little bit more worse for wear on the T1 side of the ring.
Yeah, BLG able to get that push in. Bin gets a turret plate, bottom side gets their push as well. Meanwhile, Shun in the jungle, just a little friendly jungle banter.
Yep, throwing some emotes around, things like that. Looks like the Gromp should be secured here by Owner. And BLG, 4-man strong here, moving towards the bottom lane. Knight has that rotational power. And Faker, he's moving the other direction, thinking about maybe trying to find Bin here. And Keria very difficult to dive at this point in time. Just feels like a bit too durable, perhaps. And BLG not going to go for it at this point in time. So stymied once again as this attempted aggression is not really getting too much.
Still getting good damage on Keria though, that's the culling, and you've got Knight on the way.
Yeah, taken down to below 50% here as he's just going to flash preemptively. Doesn't want Shun to be able to flash Twisted Advance, and it looks to be the turret to go down as well. So in the end, BLG will get what they came for.
Turret and Dragon more than likely going to be taken for them. You will get the Void Girl trade, but watch Bin. Will he stick around under tower? Will T1 look for the dive? Because there's the teleport.
Yeah, that's a very deep one. That's that ward that we were looking at before as Keria is going to make his way in. Bin already down to about 50%, and he does have the counter-strike up and available. That means not going to be able to find too much, especially with Knight teleporting in. Beautifully played here by BLG to just get what they can from the Rift. Owner going to be able to secure himself a few of these Void Grubs, but that is only going to even out those, that take.
Yep, exactly. Splitting Dragons, splitting Void Grubs here, splitting Tower Plates as well. BLG will retain that very small gold lead. Knight, of course, quite happy with those kills on the Talia. Roaming around right now, looking to maybe use his ultimates?
Yeah, looking for Gumayushi here as the Weaver's Wall is going to run out. He's taking a lot of damage as Gumayushi, but still able to land that snare. Not having to use his flash, but did have to heal.
A lot of members of BLG around the mid lane though, so how much do BLG want to push up? Looks like they're going to be happy to get a little bit of chunk damage and move their vision into this bottom side. Zeus, no tower and no vision in behind them. BLG might have found him.
Yeah, I think Zeus could be in a little bit of trouble here. Might need to use the Destiny to try and get out, and is going to be able to do so. Goodbye. And he just gets underneath his inner turret. But that is a big cooldown, now unavailable for the next couple of fights.
As we get towards the mid game here, with some of these towers going down, again, BLG and the ability to play the map, looking for these picks, looking to get that side lane pressure. Not having a Twisted Fate ultimate available now for T1. Like that is one of their biggest answers that they have in this series, and so BLG going to be very happy for the next few minutes.
This is such a different style from BLG when you think of them in playoffs though. They were such a skirmish heavy team, and it's been much more about map plays and moving around. Yes, there's been some picks and some dives, but this is not exactly what you would have counted as the BLG play when you came in towards MSI. So very different look from a team that was criticized for their side lane play coming into MSI.
Looks like Zeus will be able to grab this turret. Plate's just falling down, so won't be able to get the last one. Still going to be able to answer that first turret that was taken on the bottom side by BLG. They'll answer, though, with a Rift Herald of their own. And now, Uno looking to go aggressive, does dive towards Elk, but thinks against it, as now that is a better target for the Culling. Gumayushi taking a fair bit, still able to outrange it. Nature's Grasp going to be used here by Shun. Let's see who we can get for it, as Gumayushi very far off to the side, and that is going to be Ona going down. Elk dives forward, picks up the kill for himself, but he's now out of the fight, gone very, very low with the amount of turret shots he took.
Oh, these Maokai ultimates from Shun in mid lane. Kill after kill, they take down Owner, they immediately pop this Rift Herald, and they're gonna hard force. That's at least outer tower down. They can get the second. Can they get the second charge off? Someone? Okay, we're gonna drive it out of here.
Save Shelly! Operation get her out of here! But I'm gonna send her into a wall. Either way, I love the way BLG are playing against the composition T1 have. You see the Twisted Fate, who can be such a nuisance when you're trying to make Rift Tower plays or play for mid tower because of Destiny. So BLG target Zeus first, get the Destiny out of the way on the dive, and then look for the plays afterwards. And Knight, great position here, knows that Owner's gonna get stuck, so gets the blink back and sets up for the kill. And Carrier trying to get in position for the gobble, but on with the tidal wave, able to keep the catfish at bay.
Really beautifully done by BLG, and it looked just unanswerable, especially for Ona, who as soon as he did get snared, he was just doomed. This now are going to go down though as Faker secures that one. It's solo gold for that as well. And now augment his build already. That Archangel has been built up. And it's heading towards, it's sitting on like 162 stacks or something like that, as the Seraph is going to
All right, it's time for Elk Gaming right now, though. Delusion, 2-item power spike, and his Nami has long since completed the Imperial Mandate. So now we get to see the famed, the scary stage of the game, this mid-game where Delusion Nami just position themselves towards mid, and even with no mid tower here for T1, makes it so hard for them to ever get mid lane minion control, which should mean BLG setting up for consecutive objectives down there. The Dragon will arrive in 35 seconds or so. Plenty of time for them to move some resources.
They just need to make sure they're getting their vision down. Nothing really on that bottom side of the map where the Dragon is going to be spawning. So there's a potential for T1 if they wanted to look for picks. Is the Owner farming his own jungle? Could have maybe coming behind, but BLG just happy to shove mid and play for the tower instead. Because at the end of the day, the 1-3-1 is what BLG are looking for.
Yeah, how do you ever control mid lane here? BLG, Elkin on, they push it, they roam up to that top side tower.
Yep, tidal wave going to come down. The baby cage is there to try and protect his Gumayushi. The piercing darkness is decent, but he gets caught. Oh, Faker no does have the Seraphs. That is going to keep him alive for the moment.
Look at that value play though, BLG. They force on the top tower, they get 2 flashes. Baker's flash, Gumayusi's flash, they get the objective, and Bit3 pushing on bottom side. He's watching over Dragon right now. Nobody has tried to rush it quite yet. T1 on their reset are looking to retake a little bit of the vision leading up to it though.
Yep, Oni, you can see, does manage to land a Q onto Shun, but feels like this Maokai just straight up does not care about anything this Lee Sin is doing this game. Teleport to come forward. That's going to get Carrier back into the fight. Bin moving on in. Blue buff going to be secured there, I believe, by Owner. And yes, that is going to be the lockdown for the jungler. As Elk, be a little bit careful here. Cage goes down. That is a big cooldown. T1 won't have the next little while. They need to get control of mid lane, and this is the problem. This Lucian is just so good, making sure that T1 never have that mid control. Now, Elk gonna get snared. There's the cage down once again. Has to use the cleanse. As Seismic Shove needs to be flashed there by Carrier. Nature's Grasp avoided now by T1, and so now that is a cooldown that they don't have to think about for the next few moments. An honest 5v5 perhaps, and we'll see whether they can stand their ground.
It's really relying on On's ultimate here to make sure that they can try and step away. So T1 going to use that range advantage that they have to just keep poking, keep pushing them back. Watch for a Knight flick. There's basically only 2 ways that BLG can kick off this fight in their favor.
So much posturing, great up and available, but somewhat forgotten at this point in time. Both teams want to have a little bit more to get themselves into that river, and it looks like BLG may have found it.
As soon as Zay shows himself on top wave, that's going to be their trigger to go for it and rush down. Oh,
Culling is going to fly out. Not a lot of value there is going to be picked up until the very end, and now the snare comes down. Tidal wave finds absolutely nothing. As the Destiny going to be utilized. That gives vision of this Drake, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there. So that's the Dragon being secured by BLG. T1 sling back to the mid lane. Alright, yeah, Bin. He's looking for an opportunity onto the Twisted Fate here, and now he finds himself in melee range. Not exactly where the TF wants to be, but the cavalry has been called in. The King Flash, it comes down the flash out. He snares both, but he's going to be able to survive the Dawning Shadow. And T1 not able to find anything, but still not going to lose their Twisted Fate either.
T1 were trying to trade for the tier 2 on top side, but now they might trade their lives.
Yep, another Nature's Grasp coming on down there. Arizona gets twisted, advanced on. The seismic shove doesn't quite find the target though, and Carrier is once again extraordinarily tanky. Still BLG, they just kite them back. And are we gonna get another kill this game? Like, what's happening?
I mean, we're making it exciting. Finn goes for the teleport play there, and they get a lot of cooldowns used at the very least. Now we're more likely to get some kills with everything used here. Here's another look at it. Since he does use his counter-strike very early on to get the stun on his Zeus, he's got nothing left once the rest of T1 arrive, but then right immediately over to the rest of the team, lands the snare, not enough damage to finish him off. And we're back to live.
Back to mid-control, gentlemen.
Few summer spells on Elk, so Elk not going to be able to play as aggressive as he would like to on this mid wave, so this will buy a little bit of space for T1 to try and get their waves in order on sides. You can already see Zeus stepping up towards that top side, but Elk doesn't care apparently, as he rinses through Gurumiyushi's health bar.
Onan thought that was like their bait, but instead his Zeta carry just lost his entire health bar. So yes, the mid-game power of this Lucian is going to feel even worse once that Infinity Edge does come on through. Already with the first couple of items picked up, definitely the core for this Lucian build. Elk is just absolutely terrifying here in this game. See whether T1 can do anything to mitigate it. It will get to the point though, gentlemen, where Faker can press R and he dies. Like, maybe that's what T1 have to wait for. Like 55 minutes, something like that.
The stacking is, going according to plan here for T1. Faker on 214. Mid lane has been pushed up here by T1. They go for the 4-1 split push with Faker on bottom side. Being able to get out of the wave, but here comes the collapse from BLG.
Yep, gold card going to connect, but Elf's not really too worried about it. And here is all of the ultimates flying forward. It's a decent gobble this time around, but the top catch will not survive. Faker finds his opportunity, but he just takes a Nami, and that is not going to do enough to get them into this fight. Still flashing, puts down the cage, but the Baleful Strike will not land. And now, there is nowhere for him to go. Back against the wall, and there is a killing spree for Knight.
The trifecta of teamfight ultimates here from BLG. Knight puts the wall behind the T1 members, and then the cross-section of Maokai ultimate and Nami ultimate used to pin them. Now with the extra pickup on the kill onto Faker, BLG have so much time to clear out all this vision. And a lot of extra gold to spend.
Surprised they didn't just run towards the Baron, but not going to try and go that aggressive.
Yeah, I think Gumiyushi built the end, hitting Elk, put a little bit of inflation on. He was very, very low, but we'll see this here, right? The Venn diagram of doom for T1 as right caught in the middle. His carry is Zeus. His carry thinks he's going to save Zeus, instead puts him further forward. And even at the start of the fight, you can see Owner on the top side was trying to get on towards the Talia as Knight came into the fight, but just couldn't quite get the damage he needed. But there's the T1 Classic.
Yep, as per usual, it is down to 50% health. BLG know exactly what's going on. The cage not going to do anything in T1. They just back away. They went for it. They thought there was an opportunity, but they are still going to be able to get out. Still Bin with some free time in this mid lane does a big old dent to the inner turret.
I feel like everybody, if they're playing against T1, coach's #1 job is, remember, they will rush Baron. They will rush Baron. If they're ever behind, they will rush Baron. BLG check it. They got a little bit of extra damage on mid turret as well. Cage goes down, but nobody going to get caught.
Yeah, there's the Nature's Grasp once again. That's going to guarantee the turret. Very nicely done here for BLG. They move up a little bit further in that gold advantage. Only 2-point-something K. Exactly massive. But still, it just feels like this game has no control in it for T1. It is all being dictated by BLG right now.
And so much was coming down to, again, Knight getting the first pick on Talia, having that success against Faker, also looking at Bin getting the counter pick against Zayas. Zayas hasn't really been able to find what he needs up against the Jax. Elkanon, the Lucian has worked out absolutely fantastic for them, as it has time and time again in the LPL. And now T1 need to find some sort of way to get a pick with Zayas, find some way to shut down the BLG aggression.
Yeah, and it's just so difficult when Elk has both summoner spells available to him. Cleanse and Flash ready. Dragon is going to be theirs, but the ward's cleared out, so T1 going to keep on making you think, are we rushing it? Huh?
Yeah, are we going to do the Baron? You can see that, you know, Faker's throwing like a W at it just to say, like, yeah, we could.
Look at the spam of pings, too. Afterwards. They pick up their Drake, though. They are now on soul point. Job number one again, still push out the side wave, control the map here before moving in.
There is Ona getting himself out of there with the save.
No flash on Faker.
And there's another weave as well to come through from Knight. Ona gets over at the Nature's Grass, should be able to get the Viger, although it does run out still. I think Bin with some free time should be able to take him down. Seismic shove not onto Faker, but he's still going to go down. And that is Knight that collects that kill. T1, they do get here to try and defend, but they're not going to be able to save their mid laner.
Faker with
BLG pushing even further forward.
Faker with his dying breath able to get down one more cage, means that BLG can't follow up, but now they get to move in towards the mid lane as Zayas desperately trying to clear out that wave to stop the base from being cracked open by BLG.
Now only one caster minion left up and available, that's going to be licked down, so are they able to get that one in there, but this inner turret already falling down, and I think it's going to be bot and top lane. BLG will be focusing on from now on. T1 still trying to move aggressively towards their own jungle here. Doesn't feel like they own it right now as BLG. The man advantage on the map, they do have Bin towards that bottom side, but the teleport at the ready means he can always be there.
Yeah, it's just too dangerous for T1. With Faker in the graveyard there, they cannot afford to defend their... Oh my god!
The Devour has to be used here by Carrier, and he's going to get Gumushi up, but to safety, I'm not entirely sure because the teleport's coming in, and Bin just dives on top of him. There goes the bottom lane, shoved around his Carrier, and Knight is indeed unstoppable.
That's Illusion, baby, and that IE was completed. Atlas, the pain he unleashed on the Kuma.
BLG are going to go for the Baron, but keep your eyes on over Faker. Double snipes are available for the T1 and mid jungle if they want to try and contest this. He's going to try and keep Zayas out.
Well, Zayas might be able to get on in here. There is the Destiny. That is going to give them at least vision of what's going on here. He can safeguard his way through. Faker with that smite play you were talking about, it is very scary. Dawning Shadow gives them vision, and Ona goes in, but it's not going to be in time. Kicks the tree over the wall and then meets his demise. BLG, they'll take the Baron, and they'll look real good to win this game.
TP mid?
Alright, well, Carrier's making his way back, and he's tanking it on that tanky, and he goes the wrong direction, one could say. Faker's going to turn up alongside him, and just die.
BLG are going to speed run the rest of this game then. Thank you very much for the extra kills. Thank you for the extra cooldowns, T1. And they're going straight for the base.
All right, well, Gumushi is going to try and defend, and it's not going to work, as this is going to be the base broken for BLG. Feels like T1 just can't handle the pressure. There it is. Rocks being strewn on the ground in front of Gumushi. Isaiah's trying to do some fancy footwork, but it is not going to be enough. As Ona, he gets underneath his inhibitor turret, but he's thrown around like a ragdoll once again. Elk will be taken down. So there's at least some shutdown gold going over to Ona. And BLG, they're happy to have some fun as well.
Doesn't mean they won't get the inhibitor though, and because Bin was pushing the top side, won't actually get too much though. A little bit of a whoopsie. If BLG had actually killed T1 there, maybe they could have looked to end the game, but the fact that Elk ended up tanking the tower, coming back to bite them for the
I'm glad they're giving us this extra few laps here towards the late stages.
Alright, Shun, he's in a cage. He's got a redemption. He gets more help after that altercation. There we go. Circles on circles. That's a lot of
Look at that, yeah. So they're teleporting mid to try and push out mid before the rotation over, but BLG are still here. So Elk immediately jumps on them and annihilates the entirety of T1 there. Carrier gets taken down because Big was coming from the river. Faker as well. Just straight put into the dirt.
I thought Faker was supposed to be the first mage. Delku just immediately turns on the Faker and blows him up. You're not killing Alki.
And there's a Majai's now for 9 as well. He is absolutely feeling himself here in this game. 7-1-6. And yeah, Talia has certainly been the focus of this series thus far. 100% win rate if BLG are able to take this game. And it's feeling all but over right now. T1, they still have their inhibitors up, but not a lot of defense for them. And Cloud Soul going to be up and available for BLG in 20 seconds time.
Yeah, it's really hard to cook up a way where T1 are going to be able to say anything about it. I mean, probably just opt for some more stacks here and hope for a better angle at a team fight towards your base. Going out towards that Dragon Soul seems so insanely dangerous right now. I mean, if you funnel in through any of these jungle corridors, guess what? BLG's comp is littered with Maokai ultimate, Nami ultimate, things that are just going to make your approach a death trap. So.
Well, there is a kill. That's just not going to work there for Rona. He's going to be put into a bottle and destroyed. Zayas moving on down the cage. Fantastic this time, but it's the resurrection and Carrier. He mistimes the abyssal dive. Elk gets himself out of there with the relentless pursuit. And there goes Faker. BLG are too far ahead. And they know it has now been flashing with the counter-strike. That'll be the match point for BLG.
BLG, the LPL first seed, showing why they were so feared coming into MSI, taking us to a match point against T1.
Nexus will go down and BLG man. You were right, Kobe. You said it at the beginning. You saw that Lucian Nami and you were like, this is looking dangerous, gentlemen. And you were absolutely right. Elkanon having a fantastic game, and it just felt like after that mid game, there was no way back in. As soon as you parked that Lucian Nami in mid, T1 just could not go anywhere without BLG having first move.
For science, I still want to know if that Maokai ultimate, if Faker had kept going bottom, would he have been able to outrange it or not? Someone test it for us.
We can like jump into the practice and figure it out or something like that. But let's head on over to the analyst desk to break it down.
Thank you so much. And is it London or are we?
Wah, udahan dulu. Ngantuk banget, gua ketiduran. Karena ini dialog juga. Jadi gua akan lanjut nanti malam aja langsung. Kita malam live roleplay.
It's a game.
Jadi ya udahlah, kita lanjutin terus, oke? Thank you guys. See you next time. Bye bye.
These work really well in combination with each other.
Thank you guys.